Good morning. So how can companies make the most out of generative AI? Just last week, McKinsey came up with a report. They studied 63 use cases across 16 business functions and found out the annual economic value that these use cases of generative AI, if they are put to practice, will bring to table. Numbers are astonishing. It could have an economic value of anywhere between 2.6 trillion US dollars to 4.4 trillion US dollars. Just to put it in perspective, the GDP of UK is 3.1 trillion US dollars. So it's no longer a question of whether generative AI is going to be changing the world. The real question is not whether, but how it's going to change the world. Possibilities are infinite. It could change a whole lot of things with vast digital content in metaverse, in NFT space, song production, music production. You're already starting to see some of these things. Drug discovery, creating new materials, and so on. It could change the very essence of creativity and productivity. It could create huge changes to several industries, including online education, game development, you name it. And of course, it could also, if not responsibly, and that's a big topic altogether, used, lead to impersonation, malicious hacking, fake social media photos, all kinds of things. But it's clear that there is no wonder that organizations are really focusing and spending a lot of time and energy in generative AI. I can tell you, when we meet our clients and the moment we utter the word generative AI, all ears are on. People want to hear more. That's at least a seat at the table you get when you talk about generative AI today. Everyone is interested. Sorry. So, IDC came up with a report in April which said 70% of enterprise intelligence service providers are actively considering or working on generative AI use cases at this point in time. These range across things, but one interesting thing that they found out was while ChatGPT is very popular at an individual level, the biggest use case that companies are really focusing on is not conversational application. It is more around code generation, it's more around knowledge management, product design and engineering. Some of these things take more priority. Similarly, when they are looking for organizations to help them with generative AI, the number one factor that they're looking for from IDC is business outcomes. If they can really bring the business outcomes, do they have proven track record of showing the business outcomes? Everything else is around that. Second is, can they really help with the data sets for model generation? So data is king. How can you help with the entire data management is going to be key for service providers when they help organizations figure out their generative AI journey. And then your AI capabilities and everything else after that. I talked about that McKinsey report. In the same McKinsey report, they also talked about 4 departments or 4 business functions which are going to use generative AI much more than the others. These are customer operations, sales and marketing, software engineering, and product R&D. So with all these things, you will start getting bombarded with hundreds and thousands of use cases. Now, how do you kind of choose the journey in which you can go about? Generative AI is expensive, no doubt about that. So if you have 100 use cases, you can't go about implementing all these 100 just for fun. You have to prioritize. There are applications on the left side which are like internal applications, and then somewhere in the middle, like helping the customer service agents and customer-facing applications, and then you are actually helping the customers. My advice would be to start with internal applications. The cost of error is low if you fail internally. There could be a number of things. For example, code generation. This is a very interesting application you would have already seen, so I don't want to talk a lot about it. But you can give English commands, and system will write the code. Then you can say, I want to fine-tune this with these constraints, and it will understand the context. From that memory, it will take up and then rewrite the code further. So the entire conversational way of doing code writing is going to completely change the analyst productivity within organizations, the software engineer productivity. It's not just that. These code generation tools can even read pictures. So for example, if you upload the picture of a decision tree, it can write a model based on that picture. That's the level of sophistication these LLMs have achieved today. Then when you move into that, how do you help customers? Can you improve the whole process? I will show you a demo a little later in this, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. And then when you move to the extreme end, the entire game changes. You are actually in a customer-facing game. So a whole lot of new complexities around data privacy, right protocols, what you need to do, all of that comes even more important and critical when you are at the customer-facing side. Hyper-personalized marketing. If you are an e-commerce provider, can you create customized product descriptions for each user, each shopper on your product page? When you go to Amazon, you normally see one common description. Imagine that's customized to what you're looking for. Some of the pain points that you have identified, does it address or not? You have to scroll down and see, does this have this feature? Because I have been looking for that. But based on your interaction, if the product description right up front shows that, how beautiful that would be for your shopping experience, isn't it? So all of that, right? So infinite possibilities. But start internally and then move to the other end. Now, how do you evaluate? We talked about you can't do everything together. So there is some framework that we have used here. Number one, look for processes which are highly manual. And that by converting that manual process into a generative AI application, can you have significant productivity gain annually? That's one factor you need to consider. Second, are these difficult to automate? So can a simple automation solve this? Then don't go for something more complicated. So that could be another parameter. Third, lots of unstructured data. Now that will be related, almost linked to automation part, but unstructured data, the more unstructured data you have, the more useful generative AI will become. Significant cost or revenue impact. For example, can you improve your customer experience and therefore improve the customer loyalty, stickiness, and therefore lifetime value of a customer increases? So is there a revenue increase attached with that? What are the, or is it something on the sidelines that's not really going to have a significant revenue impact or cost impact from productivity? Does it help you to reduce the risk from regulatory point of view? What is the cost of being non-compliant? If you don't follow that regulatory process and there are some gaps in that, are you going to pay a huge amount of fine? There have been situations where we have seen our clients where we have helped, even without generative AI, where a process, when we automated, when we modified, when we put it under control, it helped them avoid huge amount of fines, multi-million-dollar fines, because you are following that. The generative AI can be extremely useful in complex cases with unstructured data, in eliminating, especially in insurance industry, for example, when you look at claims, how you're looking at, right? And how are you, in fraud, risk, all of these areas, you could have significant impact if you are using generative AI. So having a framework like this is absolutely critical for you to choose which use cases you need to focus on. No one has infinite amount of money. We just need to prioritize and do accordingly. Not just that, this cannot be a sporadic exercise. You have to have a structured approach to it. Your infrastructure, your core models. So do you have what is your infrastructure cloud strategy? How are you trying to migrate to cloud? Are you really planning it well? Do you have your generative AI models is one thing, how are you creating that? But even beyond that, do you have data ops, do you have model ops to really govern your innovation and speed up your market traction? Are your generative AI instances integrated? How are you integrating that with your business application? Creating is one thing, but there will be 10 uses where you can really integrate and make it a seamless process. Most importantly, do you have an improvement loop? We believe that having a human in the improvement loop will change things tremendously. You will have faster success, you'll have greater success. So do not leave everything to the machines. Have that human in the loop for that improvement loop for the system to make it better and better, faster. So when we spoke to our clients, they asked us a couple of questions. How do I go about my data? How do I go about this LLM? How do I set up my data in such a way that I can choose the LLM that I want, the large language model that I want, and the LLM is trained on my data? How do I set up the APIs? So the data part. Second is, how do I organizationally go about all this? Should I set a center of excellence for this? Should I set up a practice for this? Or can I let different departments try out their own experiments? And how do I then coordinate? Do I let use cases evolve themselves? So these are all questions that clients are asking us. Based on all this, we decided to create a generative AI platform which brings together all of this in a manner that gives our clients a secure, a comfortable a place where they could explore generative AI and actually get benefits from it. So when I look at this, there are multiple components. I won't go into all details, but one key component is our AI workbench. This workbench brings together our experience in data management, feature exploration, the model development, and the deployment of solutions in a very secure and compliant manner. So that's very important for you to bring it all together and make it easy for the clients so that they don't need to really worry about all the technicalities. Second thing I want to highlight is your enterprise data management as a client, as a company, is extremely important. Before you embark on a generative AI journey, you first need to have your data strategy in place. If you don't have this, it's going to be junk in, junk out. All the money will be wasted. So very important part to have, and if you don't have the data in one place, bring it together, migrate it to the right scalable, resilient networks, all of that you need to do before you embark on this journey. And everything else we somewhere talked about, I will not get into the details. So when we talk to our clients, we told ourselves and to our clients that two things are very important. One is, we are only going to use closed data. That is, data that is approved by the client. Second, we're always going to have a human in the loop. Without these two conditions, it's not really useful for enterprises to make the most out of generative AI in the fastest and most efficient manner. So let me take a pause here and show you a quick couple of minutes demo of a mock call. This is between a customer service agent and a customer. And we have all seen when you are talking to customer service agents, there are moments of frustration. They're unable to find quick resolution. Sometimes same thing has to be repeated multiple times. Or there are holding times. Can you hold on for a minute? Let me check this. And you keep on holding, and then you get frustrated. On the other side, the customer agents are also getting frustrated because they can't understand your accent sometimes. And they had to ask a few times. Then retrieving the information takes time from various systems. Then they have to update all these systems manually. Imagine a system which actually helps you and becomes almost like a coach while you're on the call supporting this. This is what generative AI can really do and transform how you do these calls. So what you're going to see on the screen is an agent screen, a mock-up screen, where the smart agent assist will try to guide the person through the call. Okay, so you'll hear the call and you will see how generative AI is helping in the background, helping the agent in the background. Let's play the video, please.
Is powered by Generative AI Works.
Hi, you've been connected to Utility Collections team. My name is Jessica, and I'll be happy to assist you today. May I have your account number, please?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, and could you just confirm your full name and date of birth?
Kate Harding, 1st of June, 1990.
Perfect. And how about your full address?
101 Leslie Street, AD01QA.
All right, and lastly, please confirm if your email address is still kate7499926@gmail.com.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I do see there's an outstanding balance of £1,011 and 11 pence. Are you calling to make a payment today?
Unfortunately, I have no income whatsoever at the moment. I'm actually due to give birth on Friday, and my husband lost his job. I'm obviously not working because I'm about to give birth, so I'm just in a very difficult position right now.
Congratulations on your pregnancy. And I'm really sorry to hear about your financial situation, Ms. Harding. Let's see how we can best help you today. Will an alternate payment plan or maybe a switch to pay-as-you-go meter work for you?
Sorry, that won't work either, since my husband has put out a couple of applications, but he hasn't heard back. And if there's no gas and electricity in my house, it will be very tough to care for my newborn.
Oh, I see. Well, given your circumstances, I recommend that you contact Step Change for assistance.
Okay, I'll do that.
I can send you an email regarding Step Change and a few other organizations that might be able to help here. As for process, I'll put your account on a 30-day temporary hold with the hopes that your financial situation will improve.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course. And since you're expecting a child, I recommend that we register you for Priority Services Register, or PSR. Essentially, you would be prioritized to get power back first in the event of power failure, and there are a few other benefits too. Also, there's no extra charge for PSR.
Oh, okay, thank you. That will be really helpful.
All right, I'm just going to add you. There's also a short script that I need to read to you. While the Priority Service Register contains your personal information, we assure you that anything you provide here will be treated in the strictest confidence.
Okay, let's stop here in the interest of time. There's a little more on the call, but there's limited time. At the end, Generative AI also summarizes the entire call so that it's not like a transcript, the essence of it. Okay, this is the empathetic situation you're showed, these are the kind of things the agent shared, a very well written summary that will get produced at the end of it. Amazing, right? How this can change the experience on both sides, for the agent as well as for the customer. So this is just the beginning. So if you look at some of these, right, this is really, really helping improve the overall time taken in the call. The call handling time is significantly reduced. The customer experience has been better, 8 to 10%, maybe it's more than that, right, depending on how much empathy and other things that you show. And then the competency of the agents improve. They don't look clueless. They look a lot more informed. So multiple benefits that come out of implementing something like this. So this is just one case. There are many cases that we have. In fact, we have also had live implementations for an insurance provider. We have recently implemented our very first generative AI engagement, where when insurance claim agents are looking at information, they have to retrieve from multiple sources. The entire process we improved, and which led to 3x improvement in execution and significant reduction in almost 30-40% reduction in the overall call time by the agents. So generative AI is just on a start. This is the first chapter. There are many more chapters to come. And if you look at it 15 years back, when from those old phones, when we transformed, when we moved over to smartphones, it was a fantastic moment. I remember walking down an iPhone store in Europe during one of my business travels, and really like a toy, like a child looking at that. So I could say that AI is having its iPhone moment right now. So this could be a new start. Thank you.